Welcome back, Conversations with Rob and Lou.
Mhm.
We're recording it late today, and if Marky's lucky...
1 hour late. Yeah.
Yeah, and if Marky's lucky, he will be able to listen to this on his ride back home from work today.
Oh,
If I finish uploading it in time.
I see.
Yeah. But to start it off, there's something that I want you to try, Louie.
Oh, oh. No. I thought it was going to be something else.
No. Or I don't know what you thought it was going to be, but these
New
are...
products.
No, yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But no. These are dried limes.
Trying to listen to too much of a YouTube video.
Yeah, it is a
You're like,
YouTube video.
We had these dried.
Hold
like-
on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious
How many
what
of these
you'll-
can we eat?
Yeah, before we die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what you'll think of it. That's a good one.
Smells nice. Yeah.
And this is to spit it out on when you're done.
Oh, because it's disgusting, or like,
It's
Or you just
probably
can't eat it, I guess.
too powerful for.
should I just like,
I don't know.
how are you supposed to eat this thing?
I mean, you're not really supposed to eat them. You're more so supposed to put them in drinks, probably.
Mhm.
But isn't it just the essence of sourness?
Mm.
Like, there's no water. It took away all the water, and it just became the most sour thing.
It's like bitter almost.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's just the concentrated physical sourness that's in the lime, and no water to dilute it, and it
yeah,
lost
like crystallized sour.
80% of its weight, and just became pure sour.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what use these are, but they seem
Yeah.
potentially very powerful and useful.
Yeah, I don't know. You could like powder it and put it in a drink or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you could.
You wouldn't want to like. There's not much you would like be able to put like that like physical thing in. I don't know.
Yeah. Like alcoholic drinks, I could see if you added a bunch of sugar to that,
Mhm.
that could help like ward off any bad taste from the alcohol and just become a really sour taste.
Have the bad taste on the lime instead.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why it became so disgusting, but
Yeah, I think it's just the bitterness.
yeah, but you know the miracle fruit?
Mhm.
I wonder how sweet that would taste
Yeah, I don't know.
if you had the miracle fruit with the dried lime. Because
Yeah.
for anyone who doesn't know, miracle fruit basically just turns off your sour receptor, so you only
Yeah, but
taste the sweet.
It's not a fruit. It's just like a weird
I think
marketing
it-
word or something. Like,
Well, no, I think it
name-
is a fruit from Africa,
Oh, but they turn it into
and
like
they
a
just
pill
turn
or
it into a
something.
pill. Yeah,
Yeah.
They just to keep it fresh
Hmm.
for us, or not
Yeah.
fresh, the opposite of fresh.
Or like
Processed and-
processed or,
yeah.
or preserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It didn't taste very sweet. It just tasted like really bitter and sour.
Well, that's my point. Like,
Well,
the
it
sour-
doesn't like transform the sour into sweet, does it? It just like
No, yeah, it doesn't
Nullifies the
transform
sour.
the sour into sweet. But you remember having those limes when we had the pill?
yeah. But I feel like limes, like fresh limes, are sweet and sour.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't notice the sweetness as much.
Yeah.
But I feel like this miracle fruit doesn't make it more sweet.
No, yeah, it
Whereas
doesn't
this
make
is
it
like
more
not sweet at all.
Yeah. It doesn't seem sweet,
Mhm.
but the sugar wouldn't, just from drying it, it wouldn't disappear, right? It would still be in.
I don't know. It could like turn into something else.
Wow. Just from a little bit of heat.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. Like
I bet.
it does seem way more bitter than anything.
It does seem really
Like,
bitter.
I wouldn't be surprised. If
I
it
think
became-
that's like overpowering all the potential sweetness that you could taste.
yeah, but like why doesn't it taste like that normally? You know.
Yeah, no, yeah. It doesn't. It tastes a little bit like that, though. I think this is
Yeah.
just way more concentrated.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. But if you did do that and you
That's
were...
why science is bad.
Yeah. If you did happen to do that and you were eating these, I was thinking about it, and I feel like it would just melt your mouth eventually. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
like
you'd
the
be
sourness.
tasting this really sweet thing, but it's just masking all the horrible sour that's...
Yeah, and just like
destroying
dissolving your teeth and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be bad.
Mhm.
But there was something that I was thinking of the other day.
Mhm.
And actually, because Rose was on the phone with me saying that because I was playing video games at the time when she called, she was saying that she thinks I play too many video games. And
You're surprised.
this is a common thought from Rose. And it was making me wonder, is it possible to play too many video games? In your opinion?
Interesting.
Because going along with your philosophy of
Mhm.
doing what you enjoy, is there a limit to doing the technological things that you enjoy? Like, is there a reason that isn't as valuable as doing stuff in real life?
Yeah, I've been thinking about what I was saying about just like doing things that you want to do,
Mhm.
and I think it is way more complicated than just like you can't take that at face value because then you would just do drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the video games end up being like kind of the sort of thing that you do. Like part of the reason you do it is because it acts like a drug, and it just has like the dopamine rewards and stuff.
Yeah, but doesn't anything fun do that?
Exactly. Yeah. So like everything acts like that. But I think the video games, the key is if they're adding something that's like, or no, like on some level, it's if they're adding something where you like learn how to learn things better, or like how to have better hand-eye coordination or something. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it is just a fun thing where it's like sometimes there is no point in doing it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say. Like,
And so is there like, obviously, like I obviously think that there is like a justification to play them for some amount of time.
yeah,
Is there a limit on that though to you? Do you think that like it caps out at some point, or that we shouldn't be playing them at all, or
yeah. I think that's maybe the wrong way to look at it. Because like, if I said like a certain number of hours a day,
yeah.
that's almost just like acting as though I know the objective
Yeah.
answer. And I think it's almost like a per person basis of like, if you're a video game addict and once you start playing, you won't stop until
Yeah.
you fall asleep,
Yeah.
then 0 hours is probably the best time.
Yeah.
But if you can do it responsibly and it's like, you don't have other things you need to be doing, then you might as well play as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's sort of a question of like what the results of it are, maybe.
Yeah, because I was doing a little thought experiment where I was thinking, if I was in a situation where I literally didn't have to do anything, like I had enough money so that I could just DoorDash food to me, I don't even have to make food or shop or anything like that, just completely free time to do whatever I want with, 24/7. What would I do with the day?
Right.
And I think some of it would be spent playing video games, because video games are really fun. Like,
Right.
they're just some of the most fun things that people have created, I feel, as someone who's played them.
Yeah. That is kind of what they're meant to be. Like,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, because of how the technology works, we have access to it since it's just code, and it's not like you have to be ultra wealthy to get that kind of fun.
Right.
Like a lot of other things, like hang gliding or traveling around the world.
Or like anything the noblemen were doing like 200 years ago, 300 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Like, fun is now like a democratic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. At least for a lot of things, like the video games and
Yeah,
TV.
certain types of fun. Yeah.
And it's tough to say if I had enough to do all of that, if there would be a reason not to just play the video games all day.
Yeah, I think part of the reason you don't want to do it all day is because it stops being fun after a certain point. Because it definitely is like, if you were playing all day, it's unlikely that you'd really be enjoying it the whole time. Like
Yeah.
gradually,
Why?
least in my experience.
Why does it stop being fun?
yeah, I don't know. At least for me, it's like you kind of get like the sensory overload of like, there's too much going on and it stops being like, you stop like maybe like being as aware of what's going, or like receiving all the input that the screen is giving you or whatever.
Yeah. So
Something like that.
In that way, is it almost like it would be feasible to play video games for 2 hours and then take a 30-minute nap and then start playing again?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if that's what if that's what you need to like decompress or whatever, like
Yeah.
clear your mind.
Because
I don't know if sleeping is the best way. Like,
Yeah, not literally sleeping, but just, just sitting and like closing your eyes and resting and just letting your mind decompress or whatever it is. But I was thinking of future technologies, and they're all like, all the VR stuff is kind of just going to be a glorified video game.
that's what you think it will be.
That's what it seems like. Or that's
you
what
said it like it's a fact.
Like, that's what it sounds like. Like, that's what
Yeah.
my opinion of it is going to be. Like, if we're in a virtual screen doing stuff, like, people might not call it a video game, but I'm going to think of it as a glorified video game where you just have an avatar in this world and you're doing stuff. In that sense. But
That's one like possibility. But yeah,
it could be different. But
I can say what I think it will be. But yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, do you not think it's going to be like a virtual avatar kind of thing?
Or I think there's a lot of different possibilities. But
Okay.
what were you going to say? I was going to derail the conversation.
Yeah. I was going to say that it seems like that's where a lot of people will be spending the majority of their time anyways. And
Oh,
if they're willing to spend it doing that, or if that ends up seeming like the right thing to do, just because the technology is a little better.
Why not do it now?
Yeah, if you enjoy it enough now, then why wouldn't you do it now?
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of different factors, I think. Like, assuming the VR does end up being like a video game,
Mhm.
it will matter more if it's like a thing that everyone's doing.
Mhm.
Where it's like if everyone is in this video game, then like getting a bunch of resources and stuff in the game actually matters because everybody like values them more.
Mhm.
Like it turns more into like, say you get like gold in a video game, it turns into more like real money
Yeah.
if everybody has it.
But that's
Or half the
kind of like
population,
saying
Mhm.
getting more money now in real life matters more than just doing whatever you enjoy. Like, even if it's going off in the woods without people.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like the video games, if the video games were giving you money and weren't any different, then they
Yeah.
would matter more. That's more what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming, like, that I'm in this, in the hypothetical state where I have enough money.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah. And so, but is there a reason other than just getting money? Like, obviously,
Yeah.
the video games take up time and you don't have that time to get money. Is there a reason other than that
Okay.
we shouldn't be playing the video game?
So you see, like disregarding money,
Yeah.
is there any reason why the current video games are worse than the hypothetical VR video game?
Well, obviously, they're just not as immersive. But is there any reason why...
Like worse for you, or like
Yeah, or why we shouldn't be spending our entire days playing either one of them?
yeah,
Because they are
It's hard
just
to say.
really fun.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like there's, yeah, it is hard to say. Like the VR thing is almost a little too hypothetical to like use that as an example.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to say like, because the VR has this aspect, it's better.
No, yeah.
But the thing is, the VR seems a little too like far fetched.
Yeah, we
almost.
don't know what
Yeah.
it's going to be yet.
Because yeah, I think my idea of the VR is not that it's going to be like the Ready Player One or whatever,
Mhm.
which would be really fun.
Yeah.
But I think a more realistic thing is it'll be some, or I don't even know, but it'll be some weird like alternate reality,
hmm
or like a different type of universe almost, where it's like right now the internet is full of people like sending angry tweets and like pressing buttons to upvote or like to have this input into like an algorithm almost.
hmm
And I feel like the VR will probably end up being more of like less like the real world and more like some weird like world like built from scratch from some weird emotional inputs that we put into it or something. Like something that's harder to imagine than we probably think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the creation of it won't be from like it won't be like nature creates this thing and then we live in it. It'll be like the AI creates it and we live in it. And the AI isn't coming from like the AI doesn't know what like the laws of physics are. It knows what like the laws of like human interaction are or whatever. So I feel like it might be built on something less physical than we think, you know.
I see. See, I wasn't thinking that the AI was going to create it. I was assuming that we would create something that's like pretty good, obviously not the
Yeah.
final form,
Mhm.
but just something that's really good that people are spending a lot of time in before we make the AI.
That's probably part of it. But
Yeah.
to be fair, the AI is already making the internet. Like the internet is already built on the algorithms.
That's true.
So it's only going to get more based on the
Yeah.
algorithms stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
okay. So
that was going to
Yeah.
derail the conversation.
yeah. So that explains like kind of what you think about the virtual reality, but
Yeah.
modern day video games.
I guess that's my way of saying that the video, like, if it's not going to be like a video game, it's hard to use as a reference. But
Yeah. So ignoring like what the VR could be,
Yeah.
just thinking about the video games, and I keep motioning this way
because
because my computer's right over there,
Yeah.
and that's where I play video
and I'm
games.
just staring at it the whole podcast.
yeah. But
Actually, reading what do you call that? A teleprompter. Yeah.
oh yeah, I never know how those work. Those always seem like such a mythical thing that
Yeah.
there's just this completely invisible screen that people are somehow able to see
On
something.
TV, I think it would be like under the camera or something.
Oh, would it be under?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always assumed that people had them and could. Are you sure? Because in TV shows, aren't there like don't they pan around to the person and they're giving a speech live, and the person is like just reading it from a teleprompter, even though it's like really heartfelt speech. Like if they're trying to be cynical in the TV
for like
show.
politics or
Yeah. Like I'm thinking something that they
I don't know.
that they might do in like even The Boys, like.
yeah, I don't know. There's teleprompters I think the politicians have that are like a little like screen in front of
Yeah,
them.
just like a clear screen.
Yeah, it's probably like a holographic type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like projection.
Yeah. But it's just strange that you can see it from one side and not the other.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
beside the point.
Anyways,
it's kind of
yeah.
like a laser, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Or like it only goes in red direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Sorry.
my wondering is like, just according to what I've heard of the philosophy of doing what you enjoy, and it's more complicated than that, but the basics of that.
The 2 tenets.
Yeah. is there a reason not to play video games a lot of the time?
I think they're like, it's always like there is,
Mm-hmm.
or it's like either there is and you don't play video games all the time, or there isn't and you just, or like there's always going to be a reason to stop playing video games.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're hungry or you're tired,
Mhm.
or you're just tired of playing the game,
Yeah.
or you have some like idea of like what social or like what like expectation you have of what you do or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know, it's like sort of what you value. Like if you value like the things your mother told you 10 years ago when you were playing too many video games and she was like, you're gonna rot your brain or something, if you value that enough, then you'll stop playing video games because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like you sort of have to find a reason that is like justifiable enough in your current ideas of what to do. And if that's not good enough, then you might as well just play forever.
Yeah.
And eventually there'll be a reason to stop.
Yeah. Like, I'm just saying, assuming that playing games is the most fun thing that you can easily access.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make sense to just be doing that as long as you want to, and then if you happen to get bored of the game, then move on to the next thing?
Yeah, if it stops being fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, if fun is like the most important like motivating factor for
I
something. It's like ideally in a perfect world, fun would be the most important thing, but the fact of the matter is that like there are certain things you value more than fun.
Yeah.
So those probably stop you before it stops being fun. Unless you don't value them at all. Like,
Yeah. And so in a perfect
yeah.
world, we wouldn't value the other things, just the fun?
Yeah, I guess like if you think fun is like the ideal thing,
Yeah.
that might not be like, maybe the ideal thing is to value working hard or something.
Yeah. That's something that the working hard is, I can see how it's good in some ways, because I've been listening to some people talk about either their schedules and how like jam-packed they are, full of work.
And how happy it makes them.
Yeah, not about how they didn't really talk
So
about
relaxed,
how happy it makes
how
them,
jam-packed it is.
but they talk about how they dread doing it, and then when they finish it, they feel really good. And for whatever reason, they know to them that it's really important to do these really tough things. Like there are 2 different people that I'm thinking of. One, Lex Friedman went through and just talked about his schedule, and it just involved so much work. It was like 3 different huge sessions of work split throughout the day. And I'm imagining if I were Lex Friedman and I had all that he had, I probably wouldn't be working that hard at that point. Like I would still do some work potentially, but I don't even know then.
Yeah.
And he's still really pushing himself, and it makes me wonder what he knows or why he's doing it.
Why you're such a piece of shit for
Yeah,
not doing
yeah.
it.
And then David Goggins.
Yeah,
who
I
you've
like
heard
that.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a recent Joe Rogan clip? I
He
think?
just did a Joe Rogan podcast.
But his knee, yeah.
Oh, I
The clip. I watched like the YouTube clips of Joe
Okay.
Rogan, but something about his knee being fucked up for
yeah, and he
running
just
too
like
much.
ran through it the
Yeah,
whole time.
like hundreds of miles. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just talking about how you don't discover who you are unless you've been through a lot of suffering
Interesting.
and have had to do really tough stuff. And that 100-mile run is like 7 years of life.
Oh, in terms of like the
In
development?
terms of like how much you learn.
That's cool.
And it's an interesting thought that,
Yeah.
and it is also like, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where when you're having a lot of fun, time passes really quickly.
Yeah.
And when you're bored or suffering, it seems to pass very slowly. So I could believe that it does extend your perceived illusion of how long your life is if you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of tough stuff.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I think the issue is the conclusion that you draw from it. Because I think the David Goggins thing, and the Lex Friedman too, are both like,
Yeah. What conclusion have I drawn? I
or,
didn't say a
or is that
conclusion.
the implied conclusion.
Yeah.
That you should work hard.
Oh, okay.
Because I think working hard is a very like vague thing, where people usually think of it in terms of like working hard on a school project or like working hard at a job.
Yeah.
But it's like Lex Friedman and David Goggins aren't working hard at a job; they're working hard at like their passion.
Yeah.
And it's like I understand the like the David Goggins things to some extent, whereas like it's fun to go into the sauna and like see if you're gonna pass out before you can like crawl out of there or whatever.
Yeah.
that just sounds like kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like the reason they do it is not because they have some like motivation or some like fear of like they're not going to be good enough or whatever, or like whatever the school teaches you to motivate yourself with.
Yeah.
I feel like the real reason to do this sort of things is because they're fun.
Yeah.
And because they turn into like sort of like a thing that you enjoy doing.
David Goggins
You know?
made it very clear that he did not enjoy doing it and that he
Yeah.
hated every moment of it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like he probably means a different thing than I think. Like, or he probably means a different thing than I'm saying. Like, I feel like he wouldn't. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it seems like you wouldn't want to live if you actually hated doing all the stuff you do.
Yeah, he said that he takes it was mental aid, that there are mental aid stations along the way.
Mental aid.
Like getting a steak after doing the big run. He would go out with whoever he was running with, Cam Hanes, I think, and just get a steak. And he was like, that was a good mental aid station.
Nice.
And that's how he considers it in like a very hardcore way of like, this is all like real suffering what I'm doing and just like tearing my body apart in a lot of pain. But then I'll have a mental aid station. But I don't think he does. I don't think he's saying he lives because of the mental aid stations. I think that helps him get through it a little bit. But he was saying that he does it because it's almost tough to like gather the essence of what he was saying.
Yeah, like why he does
But he's
the difficult tasks.
something along the lines of it helps him learn about and see who he is, and he's on a huge journey.
Yeah, it's sort of like a it's like the ascetic monks or whatever that would like starve themselves and like live out in the cold and stuff.
Yeah,
And like because it would teach them about the world or like themselves.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I think it is sort of like, yeah, it's maybe not that he has fun or like enjoys doing it, but it's some sort of like passion. And like he, for whatever reason, has a passion to like suffer in this way
yeah,
or to like put his body in harm. Like, and I don't know, like it seems like it's a very different thing than working hard at like almost like something that you're not passionate about, just something that you think is necessary, you know?
yeah. Now that is like David Goggins' experience of it, and like that might be his passion, and so he has his individual reasons potentially for doing it. But is there any merit to the idea that like you learn more when you're suffering? Do you think?
I'm sure you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you would like, yeah, like if you're enjoying everything and there's no pressure at all, you probably won't learn.
Yeah.
But I think the issue is if you learn, it's like you learn how to overcome or like how to deal with suffering. But it depends like what type of suffering it is, or like depends on like how like, the what you learn and how important the thing you learn is depends on the suffering.
Yeah.
Because if you learn how to be a good like employee or a good like prison inmate or whatever,
Yeah.
that's not a very useful thing to learn.
Yeah. And I feel like the jobs and stuff are
Yeah.
almost designed in such a way so that you're not really suffering. Like, you're not doing hardcore suffering. You're suffering just a little bit,
Yeah.
but not enough to really learn much about suffering
Yeah.
because they do pump you full of pleasure along the way. Like,
Yeah.
you get your paycheck and you get to do fun stuff during the meantime. And it's almost like...
Get 3 weeks of vacation or whatever.
Yeah,
a
exactly,
year,
exactly. It's like just enough.
Yeah.
So that you're overall suffering a little bit.
Right.
But it's not bad enough so that you really make huge progress learning like what the world is all about.
Yeah, and it also like shows you, like it's not bad enough that it shows you that the boss and like the institution is your enemy. It shows you that this little like inconvenience is your enemy.
Yeah.
Because you're just like a little unhappy, and the only thing that really like bugs you is your wife or your car breaking down. And you're like, I hate my car so much. It's like that's not why you're unhappy.
That is exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like that thing that I talk about sometimes where if you have a little bit of mold on the ceiling, you don't
Right.
bother dealing with it. But if it's a ton of mold, then
Yeah.
you have to get rid of it because it's a huge problem.
Right. Or if it's like you have a little bit of mold and you don't do anything about it, and then you spill something on the ground, and you're like, oh my god, this house is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if it was clean, you wouldn't care
Yeah.
as much. It would just be like a little spill.
So yeah, let me wipe that up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it's clean again.
Yeah.
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 That is what goes on with those. So is it worth like, I guess there must be a way to find something, or is the suffering worth pursuing at all? Or would it just overall be better, do you think, to just try to enjoy and avoid the suffering if we can?
Yeah, I don't know. Like that, I like the idea of not needing to suffer too much,
Yeah.
or at the very least to have the suffering be like rooted in something that you care about almost. Because like the gym, like I think going to the gym is a really good idea,
Yeah.
And that fundamentally is like a physical suffering of like you're like taxing your muscles when you push the weights off yourself,
Yeah.
whatever. But at the same time, it's like it's a suffering in that way, but it's not. It's like something that you want to do,
Yeah.
and you have some sort of like passion and like knowledge that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So using that as a basis, there are things that are like, for whatever reason, it's good to suffer to do them.
Yeah. I agree with the gym. I was thinking of that was
Yeah.
like in the back of my mind when I was
Right.
thinking about the suffering.
Mhm.
And I almost worry that when I go to the gym, I don't suffer enough because I've been doing it for so long. I've kind of gotten into a groove of I can pretty easily accomplish like these workouts over the course of the hour that I'm there, taking the breaks that I do in between. And it isn't really a suffering much anymore. It's just like I'm listening to a podcast or some music and I'm lifting the weights and then taking a little break and then lifting some more weights. And it's not what David Goggins is talking about when he suffers, where he really pushes himself each time. And I do that sometimes. I do really push in the gym sometimes. But then the next day I'm almost like just more tired and I take it easy in the gym that day.
Right.
And so it's tough to say, like, he might have physical differences that allow him to do that day after day.
Yeah. Probably more mental.
Yeah, more
Like he
mental
doesn't
as
care if
well.
he destroys his body.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
That's a big
That
barrier.
is true. Yeah, I am very wary of my arm when I'm
Right,
doing
right.
arm workouts and I do start to feel it get sore and kind of inflamed. I do take it a little easier because when I push it hard, which I have done, it does get sore for a couple of days when I
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. You have to like, in order to really do the Dave Goggins thing, you have to like
Yeah.
not care if your knee. We say like his meniscus was as hard as a rock. Or
Yeah.
something. It's like you need to not care if that happens.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know if I want to suffer that much.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
seems like almost like disregarding the health of your body. But,
Yeah. Maybe there's a way, like kind of with the Sober October thing, where you could say this month I'm going to
Oh, maybe.
really push myself and suffer. And then it's 1 month a year.
Yeah.
And like obviously you keep going to the gym the rest of the time and just do
I
more
see.
enjoyable. But I do like blocking off times
Yeah.
when I can do something tough and just prove it and get through it. Because if it's 24/7 and I'm just always thinking about like, ooh, I'm about to go suffer now.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that
not-
doesn't sound nice.
Yeah. That makes it not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like the doing the temporary thing, or like doing like 1 month out of the year, seems a little weird to me, or like doesn't quite make sense. But if it makes sense to you, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Why doesn't it make sense to you?
because it seems like too like by like the fifth month after you've done it, it seems too far away to really like
Like it's worn off.
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I worked out 8 months ago, I wouldn't really be thinking about that workout anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It depends on like how you think about it, because this is kind of a personal thing of like, how do you like find the passion to do this suffering thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's tough to say exactly what the suffering would be. Like if it would just be a really tough workout or if it would be something else.
Actually, yeah. The thing I'm doing is or like thinking about starting some sort of like monthly schedule of fasting, of just doing like one fast a month or something.
Yeah.
And I think I've done it a couple times of like shorter fasts, but it just sounds kind of a fun thing of like just like one Sunday a month or something. I'll just like not eat for the day.
For the day, yeah.
And that sounds kind of like a fun, like it's often enough that I'm like, I remember what it was like to be super hungry for that day or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that sort of thing is kind of fun.
That is. Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah. So yeah, if doing the gym like, or like a really hard gym workout 1 month out of the year is what you need.
Yeah.
Or like if that sounds like a fun thing to you,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Because, well, I'll talk about the fasting first. When I did the fast for a day, I did not love
when we did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we did that,
That was really funny. Like
I did not
ending to it.
love it because I did start to get like a headache and I guess I could try it again and see, but it seemed to be a big enough like toll on me that I wouldn't want to do it once a month, but maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. So what part of it is I did the math and it's like if you do 1 day out of 30, that's like 3% of your calories.
Okay.
So it's not really like, at least in terms of the calories, it doesn't
Yeah.
do anything. So it becomes like the mental or like
Yeah.
short-term physical stress. Yeah.
Yeah. That
'Cause-
could
yeah.
be good because I have thought I want to do more fasts,
Yeah.
but
Because I was thinking, to me, like the things that matter, or like the factor of it that matters the most is what I'm doing the next day and like the overall calories of like
Yeah.
I don't want to fast enough that it makes me skinnier,
Yeah.
and I don't want to like have something planned the next day and I can't do it because I'm too hungry.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
So you found
Yeah.
like you were a-okay the next day after the fast and good. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
didn't-
sure I was too.
Oh yeah, that the first time, yeah, I
Yeah.
think I was.
Yeah.
I probably felt like more tired or something, but
Yeah.
I haven't done like a full day fast yet. I'm sort of like working up to it.
I see. So the full day is like 36 hours or something like that? Or?
Yeah,
No.
because I did a 20-hour fast
Yeah.
like last month. But
That sounds, the 36 one sounds
Mm-hmm.
really just tough to like go to bed on an empty stomach.
Yeah,
Because
it
aren't the
seems-
first 24 hours the worst?
oh, I don't know.
I always heard that when you were doing a multi-day fast, the
Mm-hmm.
first 24 hours are really brutal. And then in the second day and the third day,
Oh.
it becomes easier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it really didn't seem that hard when we did it.
Yeah.
I think it's like sort of like the knowledge of like knowing like when you wake up, you're not going to eat until you wake up the next day,
Yeah.
and just knowing that if you're not going to like waffle on that,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no stress of like should I eat or should I not, or like
Yeah.
can I do this? It's like if you know you're not going to do it, then
Yeah.
it's not too hard to just like wait until the next day or whatever.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Like I had no problem throughout the course of the day not knowing that I wasn't going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I got a headache, I was like, ugh,
Yeah, you have the fear of like,
yeah.
is this an unhealthy thing to do? Type
yeah.
thing,
Of like, maybe I should just have some food now.
yeah. I've thought
Yeah.
that too about other things.
Yeah.
Like the rock climbing is like, am I destroying my fingers or something? Yeah.
The rock climbing? No.
No, not really, not in the same way. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The rock climbing seems really healthy to do.
it does. But like, in anything like that, there's always the worry of like, there's something where you're like, oh no, is this safe anymore? Type of thing.
I have thought that about my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like just doing big workouts with it in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is the metal cup in there that the doctor said would eventually cause some arthritis from wearing down the cartilage.
In like 30 years. Or something.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
But I don't know if he was anticipating me doing big workouts every day or if he
Yeah.
thought like, oh, he's the average Joe. And I'll get
Yeah.
in like 15 years because...
yeah. You can maybe
I'm
look
doing
that up, but I have a feeling working out is probably better for your joint health,
Yeah.
at least for like the
For
ligaments and
the
stuff.
cartilage I'm thinking about. Like
Yeah,
this
I don't know.
cartilage, I don't know medical stuff, but I don't know if it ever
Yeah, I don't know.
regenerates.
I think it might.
Yeah. That would be good if
It's
it
hard to
did.
say, but it definitely seems like working out would be
Mhm.
like more likely to stimulate the regeneration,
Yeah.
as long as it's not too much.
I think, yeah, it's
Like running
definitely...
100 miles type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think it's definitely really good for the ligaments and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that I've been strengthening them. But the cartilage is the one thing that I worry about, which I should look up. But I almost don't want to look it up because regardless, I want to work out.
You're scared of the truth.
Yeah, regardless, I want to work out, and I don't
Yeah.
want to think like while I'm doing these lifts, like let me favor my left arm and not do much because I don't want to know about that.
The podcast is going on too long, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think there is a problem with being
Yeah.
scared of the truth. But-
Yeah,
yes.
not scared of the truth, scared of the placebo.
Right.
All right, well, goodbye, Marky.
Yes. Goodbye.